So as a construction business owner, when was the last time you took a proper holiday without worrying that your business was going to fall apart? When was the last time, maybe forget a holiday, you could actually just comfortably take a day off in the middle of the week to spend time with the family, or maybe attend one of your kids' plays without constant calls and texts interrupting your day? Well, the truth is most construction business owners just feel trapped. They're stuck estimating, project managing, dealing with customer calls, invoices, admin, and you step away just for a moment and everything grinds to a halt. Well, if that sounds like you, you're not alone. You don't have to stay stuck. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a team that can run your construction business smoothly, efficiently, and profitably without your constant involvement. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear step-by-step plan of how to find the right leaders in your business, how to set up systems, and how to delegate effectively, which ultimately is going to give you time and freedom back, which is what we want. So firstly, let's just understand the real reason why construction businesses can't run without the owner. What's generally happening here? Well, the first problem is most owners are hiring workers instead of hiring leaders. And what that means is the workers need constant direction. They can't independently handle challenges. Secondly, there's no clearly documented systems in place for the business. So when something goes wrong or just slightly off plan, everyone panics and everyone calls you. You end up in a state of firefighting. And thirdly, the owner micromanages every single detail in the business. And micromanaging is just exhausting. It's exhausting for your team and it's unsustainable for you because you end up being the bottleneck of the business that everything must pass through. So if that sounds familiar, you probably realize now that you're not running a business, you're actually just stuck in a job, but we want to fix that for you. So what we're going to look at in this video is a 5-step process that you can use to build a really self-sufficient team that runs without you. Now, when you think about leaders in your business, you're probably going to need 3 people depending on the size of business you are. Now, that will generally start with a project manager or a site supervisor, and what they're going to do is they're going to handle projects independently, they're going to manage the timelines, they're going to look after the budgets of the project, and they'll deal with all the client communications and variations that may come up. So that's one leader that you have to have in place as you start to scale. The second person that you're going to need is an office manager or an operations manager, and that keeps all your admin under control. So someone there that can handle all your invoicing, your valuations, and all your scheduling without your daily input. And then again, depending on the size of projects you're looking after, the third leader you'll probably need is a lead foreman. And they will look after the operations on site, they'll look after the workers on site, and they really want to make sure that the quality and the timelines stay on track. So how do you find these people? Well, when you're interviewing for these roles, you want to look beyond their technical skills. First of all, obviously you want to look at their CV and ensure they've had a leadership position in the past, but why not ask them some questions that gives you a bit of an insight into whether they're a leader or not. So some of these questions could be, can you tell me about a time you solved a major site issue without guidance from the business owner? Or maybe you could say, how would you handle a client that's upset about project delays? Or maybe you can ask them, can you describe a situation where you've successfully managed a subcontractor who was underperforming? What this does is that gives you an insight into how they think as a leader. So ask questions like this really to draw the person out and see their leadership skills. But don't forget that you don't necessarily have to go out and hire a leader. You may have potential leaders already working for you on your team. So think about your existing staff. Can you identify any leaders there and maybe give them some small responsibilities and observe how they respond? And if they're doing really well, gradually give them more responsibility as they prove themselves capable. Maybe you can give them small tasks like looking after a certain part of the site on their own, or maybe they look after a small project, or maybe they order some materials without your input. Small little leadership tests like this just gets you to see whether they're more than a worker and they can actually display some leadership qualities. Also, make sure you're running some leadership trainings. Help them with their decision making and their accountability and their problem solving, and you'll naturally start to see who's stepping up to the plate and who's not. Remember this great quote, leaders aren't born, they're built. Invest in your people and they'll invest in your business. The second thing you want to do is document everything with clear SOPs. SOPs stands for your standard operating procedures. If you find that your team is constantly asking you basic questions, it's more than likely you haven't actually documented your processes clearly. So create and set aside time for creating your standard operating procedures. And you can have these for a number of different tasks, but you really want to start with the tasks that are most time consuming and are the most consistent. So maybe that's your estimating and quoting, or your invoicing and valuations, or maybe how you handle project variations, or how you manage your jobs on site. Each of these major tasks, they're going to have set ways that you do it over and over again. So start with them and actually document the exact process of how you deal with each of those. Put it down on a Google Doc, bullet by bullet, or you can even video how you do it, and that's a great way of getting your SOPs down in writing. It doesn't have to be anything complex. You can just use a simple Google Doc or maybe software like Asana, and that will help you do that. And as we said, if you want to do a video, Loom is great for that, just to record yourself explaining these processes nice and clearly, and then you can share it with your team. When you have clear SOPs, it means your team has immediate access to answers, and then they don't have to keep coming to you all the time, dependent on you and looking for an answer, because they've got the document there. They can just refer back to that document and it will save you a ton of time in the long run. The third thing you need to do is stop micromanaging and start delegating. Now, micromanaging is really tempting because it feels like you're just getting it done the right way, and we understand that as the business owner, you always do it right and your way always seems right. But if you continually micromanage, what it does, it just slows down every decision that's being made. It really limits your team's growth, and it really makes your business entirely dependent on you. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to avoid in this video. So instead of micromanaging, why don't you try this? Set some really clear expectations about the outcomes, but maybe leave the details to your team. So rather than telling them what to do, just set the expectations about what you're expecting the outcome should be. And then maybe when they come to you asking questions, oh, how do I do this or how do I do that? Why not throw it back to them and turn it around and say, well, what do you think is the best solution? How would you deal with this? That really dignifies them, but it gets them thinking like a leader that they should be dealing with this themselves rather than keep coming to you. You've got to remember that if you start doing this and you stop micromanaging, small mistakes are going to be made, and that's okay. That's a sign that you're starting to hand things off. But a small error is a really valuable learning opportunity for your team. So let them make those errors. You don't have to correct them all the time. As long as they're not major mistakes, small errors really doesn't matter. It's all about trusting your team, and it's absolutely crucial for your future growth. There's another great quote that I love. Micromanaging, it might save you minutes, but delegating effectively saves you years. So once you've done all these things, you then need to gradually start removing yourself from the daily operations. And we're talking gradual here because if you are working 60, 70-hour weeks, which unfortunately some business owners do, you can't just completely step away overnight. You've just got to do this very gradually so your team gets used to what you're doing. So start delegating. Delegate those admin tasks first, you know, the emails, the invoicing, the scheduling. Start delegating all of that, and we really want you delegating that first because these are the things that really eat into your time, and they really add little value if done by you personally. They are things that can easily be done by someone else. Once you've done the easy tasks, then you need to start stepping back from the client tasks and maybe the client calls and the client communication. Especially if you've got a project manager, you need them to be able to handle the customer interactions confidently themselves. So maybe to help them do that, you can give them some scripts or templates so it ensures consistency. And then once you've managed to step away from client tasks, you then want to step away from the daily on-site management. Empower your site supervisor or your site foreman to manage the team, manage the budgets and the quality without your daily oversight. Just take it step by step, week by week, and gradually, week by week, you'll see that you're making massive progress, and soon you'll be super surprised how smoothly your business is running without your constant involvement. Now, once you've started stepping away, step 5 is that you've got to create accountability within the leadership team. So if you want to maintain this freedom, we really have to have accountability measures for your leaders. So the project manager that you've taken on, make sure he's reporting back to you you weekly on timelines. Is he on time? Is he on budget? What are the variation orders? How is the client satisfaction rating at the moment? Project managers should be giving you that feedback, and you should be measuring that. Maybe your office manager, they can talk to you about what is the weekly invoicing been like? How is collections going on those invoices? What's any admin tasks? What have they managed to get done? And how effective have they been? So hold structured weekly meetings with all of your leadership team, and have an agenda when you go into that meeting so you can understand clearly what they've managed to deliver. Make it really clear that it's about results and accountability. You're not just there to chat, you really want to see results, accountability and solutions from your leadership team. You'll find that this weekly meeting will become one of the most important business habits that you have, and it will just give you that confidence to step back, because then you know everything's under control. You've got your finger on the pulse, and every single week you're going to get an update from your leadership team. So if you can follow these 5 steps consistently, you won't just build a better business, you're building real freedom back into your personal life. Just remember the point of you growing this business. You built this not so you could work harder. You wanted more time, more freedom, and more money. You wanted to enjoy your life outside of work. You wanted to be able to go on holiday for a week and not have to worry about the business crumbling around you. You wanted to be able to take your kids to a football game and not have to worry about the phone ringing with an emergency. So give that a go. Implement those 5 steps. Let me know in the comments how that worked for you. And if you want to take this even further and you manage to do all of this and systemize it, you may then start thinking about how do you fully exit your business and never have to work again. Well, click on the next video and we're going to show you the exact strategy, a step-by-step guide, so you never have to work again in our Freedom Figure video. See you on the next one.